With truck prices going up over 6 figures right now, truck inventory levels are the highest in the market. Jeep products now people are paying over 6 figures for as well. Sales are down in 2024 of the Jeep Grand Cherokee by as much as 12%. Chrysler itself is nothing but a mere shell of a minivan. Durangos are an aging old product that a lot of people are no longer buying because of such strong competition. Nobody wants these vehicles. Nobody wants these minivans. And certainly a lot of these other vehicles like the Dodge Hornet have been a hard sell because of the price point that they're dealing with. When somebody wants these, they typically go Alfa Romeo Tonale, and these Dodge Hornets have not been selling particularly well. Last year, the Jeep Wranglers, the flagship for Jeep, has unfortunately dropped sales by as much as 3%. And even the Gladiator, which is the truck like Jeep, dumped its sales by as much as 24%. And Jeep has seen an overall decline by 9% in sales in 2024. A clear indication that the product is not selling and people are not interested. On top of it, they've seen 6 consecutive years of decline. Ram trucks have been a hard sell, and what makes it even worse, they were scheduled to come out with a pure electric version this year, which now is on hold. Stellantis has had tremendously poor results here in the last couple of years. Now with outgoing CEO Carlos Tavares moving on, there have been changes, and it's happening right now. But with products like this, clearly they were out of touch with the buyer. I mean, the North American buyer is the buyer that would typically buy these vehicles. And how much are they paying now? Durango RT Plus all-wheel drive, $81,000. That's right, out the door, you're $85,000, $87,000. Who's got that kind of money for a garden variety, middle of the road, family style SUV like the Dodge Durango? And products even like the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer with the 6.4 liter V8, there's been a plethora of buybacks because of quality concerns. People are not satisfied with some of the technology, vibration in the drivetrain. Engines that have catastrophically failed means that the quality and the durability of these products is not where customers are looking. Earlier in 2024, the grandson of the originator of Chrysler was grossly disappointed at the direction and the deterioration of the Chrysler name and was offering to try to buy up the brand just to try to save it from Stellantis, as Stellantis looks to have literally just almost vaporized the brand altogether. Big part of the issue that a lot of people allege is that the last couple of years, the North American market, the North American buyer that would typically buy Ram pickup trucks, Dodges, Jeeps, and all these types of standard garden variety North American vehicles have all been neglected, and that buyer is no longer interested in these high-priced vehicles that are priced outside of the reach of most of the average buyers. That's right, the cost of living crisis is still going round and round. With inflation rates still high, interest rates just holding, people still find a struggle to go out there and spend $100,000 on a full-size Ram, or spend $70,000 on one of these, or even $55,000 on a loaded up Compass. Means that a lot of people are struggling to make any of it make sense, and that's why declining sales have been the name of the game for Stellantis. Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler have all seen declining in sales. Sure, there's spotty models that have done well. The Wagoneer has seen some slight increases, but that's if you sell one more than zero. Of course you've got one, and of course you've got an increase, but they have not been selling particularly well. And the vast majority of the models in Stellantis just have maintained the high watermark for poor sales. That's right, the most inventory on the lots at any one time. And with vehicles like this that just are not as competitive with the rest of the industry, from GM as well as from Ford or even Toyota, we're looking at prices partially is because the price tag, and we're seeing this one here is at $93,000 for a 1500 Sport Night Crew 4x4. This is a 2025 model year. Clearly the pricing was a big factor, and unfortunately Stellantis as a whole had given up a significant amount of market share. In the last 4 years, when Stellantis became an entity, they actually lost market share from 12.5% all the way down to 8%, and the shares of Stellantis have dropped dramatically as well. And Stellantis chairman John Elkman had recently said that they're going to have to do something much more drastic, get back to basics, get back to what the customers in the North American market are looking for, something that's affordable, practical, reliable. And so there's some products that they look to introduce and reintroduce back into the market to try to bring customers back into the doors to buy their products and try to hopefully gain some of that market share back. You've got to forgive me with the hat on backwards. The wind here is kicking up about 50, 60 mile an hour wind. It's about 0 degrees, it's freezing, and I just have to do this. But basically, what I'm getting at is these vehicles would not have sold. Rams, Jeep, Chrysler products, Dodges, they would not be selling at the end of 2024. And the only reason they knocked down some of their inventory numbers is because of the aggressive incentives. We're seeing incentives that are 7, 8, 9% of the total transaction price in many cases, as much as 10, 12, 15% in some cases, exclusively if you're be able to whittle down a deal. Yes, this Stellantis, we noticed that they've struggled in selling a lot of their product, so they've had to get very aggressive in 2024. Literally, once the old outgoing CEO left, all bets were off, and just the sales were just the primary objective. Sell cars, sell SUVs, sell trucks. Stellantis has had to get back to the game of selling vehicles, trying to promote their vehicles as premium luxury upscale vehicles, where clearly not the brand that they originated. They're meant to be a vehicle for the middle class, the working person, the work lunchbox Joe like you and like I. But they started electing to promote themselves as more of a luxury brand, more of, BMW, Audi, Benz. But clearly most people don't see it the same way. Even if they have some luxury appointments on some of their premium products like the Wagoneers, Grand Wagoneers, Jeep Grand Cherokees, they feel luxurious, but they're not a luxury brand, and they're trying to price themselves that way. And that's a big part of what's happening. The big incentives are the only reason they were moving metal, trying to get those allocations off. But realistically, it doesn't take long to search Car Gurus, and you'll find that they still have 22 and 23 inventory model years out there. There's still some old models still kicking around because they could not sell. Newly elected President Trump also announced in one of his first speeches that electrified vehicles aren't necessarily something that all Americans want. Choice is what Americans want, and that's the big challenge here. The problem with the outgoing Tavares is that he was trying to push on the electrified vehicle, trying to advance that industry, trying to advance those types of vehicles, when in fact a lot of the customer base didn't want them. A lot of people were asking, how am I going to plug in my electric Jeep to a tree? This clearly wasn't a practical solution for a lot of North American buyers. And on top of it, to create an electric vehicle, it costs more money, and it ends up costing you at the end paying for that vehicle. We're paying for the technology, research, development, and unfortunately, choice is something that we were starting to lose control of. On top of it, according to from my perception, Trump looks to be trying to attempt to dismantle the mandate for electric vehicles here in the United States of America, thus giving the American buyers choice. Hopefully choice on affordable vehicles, reliable vehicles, and maybe good old-fashioned internal combustion vehicles. Do we want electric? Only if you want, but nobody wants to be told what to do. And especially during the cost of living crisis, everybody wants to have choices, whether it's a lower cost internal combustion vehicle or whether it's a premium electric vehicle or a pickup truck that runs on diesel or gas. People want choice, and that's what Trump looks to be pushing through. And that is a shift in the tide, because on top of that, acting lead of Stellantis, John Elkman, has actually said they're going to bring back some popular models that were removed and isolated from the brand as a whole, thus of course creating higher price tags for a lot of the products, which just pushed a lot of the core customer base out of the door. Sadly, with removing simple, cost-effective vehicles just meant people had less choices. Elkman says that he plans to fully bring back a total internal combustion charger. That's right, they pretty much got rid of that. The transition into pure electric vehicles meant that all you could get was an electric charger. And while some people saw that as the future, many loyalists and customers who enjoyed that brand and the muscle car essence were grossly disappointed to hear the fake sounds and the electrified drivetrain, even with the performance to back it up. It just wasn't what people were looking for. It was getting pushed through regardless. But on top of it, other vehicles, you see all the Durangos, they're already talking about all these Jeeps, trying to do something. They've been constantly looking at the pricing on these vehicles, and instead of just going with a premium model like the Grand Cherokee, all they have right now are the Jeep Grand Cherokees as well as the Wagoneers. Means that these are all premium high dollar SUVs that a lot of customers, if they want to drive the Jeep brand, all they can get is a Wrangler or one of these very expensive premium luxury SUVs. These aren't cheap either. What is a Jeep Grand Cherokee like this? I mean, look, it has great lights, has beautiful wheels. What is this? Beautiful. Oh, I like that. But how about a Cherokee Overland 4x4? See, I don't like that too much, because that's $84,000. Even with a pretty good jag of options and features, that just doesn't make these vehicles very appealing to a lot of customers. People need something more affordable. And instead of the Jeep Grand Cherokee being the only go-to, now what John Elkman is actually saying is he's going to likely bring back the good old-fashioned base model Cherokee. That's right, the smaller version of this, the small Cherokee that's more utilitarian, lower cost, and it will be likely internal combustion only. So it seems like the tides are turning for Stellantis. They're bringing back some more affordable models, re-looking at some of their pricing structure, and now with the backing of Trump and the support that Trump's offering up a lot of the local domestic manufacturers like GM, Ford, as well as Stellantis, it looks like their future might be transitioning. This is the turning point for Stellantis. That's right, Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and even maybe Chrysler could in fact have a future. The winds of change are about to hit us. So the cost of living crisis, while it is hitting everybody very hard, maybe, just maybe, we all get a little bit of a break. And with all of that said, because we're looking at vehicles that sit even longer, you're definitely going to want to check out that video, Lot Rot. It's a real issue for vehicles that are sitting. 2022, 23, 24 models I'm seeing on this lot. Clearly they're not selling. That means they're getting older. The battery, the tires, all of that. Check it out. You're going to love that video. Hope to see each and every one in the next one. See you real soon. Bye-bye.